Hello there, welcome to everybody. We are live at the moment on the, I was going to say Kerfuffle podcast. It's not even the Kerfuffle podcast. It's the main, you're on the proper show where we discuss sensible things, not what sort of dinosaurs do you like. Alex Graham, officially known as Chicken Legs to everybody who knows him, long-term friend of mine, maybe not for much longer. And Tig, I've just learned Tig are there. Hello there, Tig. How are you? Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, Simon.
Hi, Simon. Good stuff. Look, I'm in. You asked off screen whether I was asleep. I wasn't. I'm actually crying a little bit because I've just. Where's it gone? I've just gone back to the first day opening of McDonald's around here, so I'm feeling a bit emotional. I've had my 2 Big Macs. So anyway, so it seems only right and proper as a really seamless segue there that we're talking about life getting back to normal, and of course that's what we're here talking about today, isn't it? Getting essentially your office ready for return. You'll be aware, Alex. So let's just give you a bit of background there. So Prontaprint, national chain. You're looking after three of the offices, but you serve nationwide. The market nationwide at the moment, don't you?
Yeah, basically Prontaprint, we're an established brand. We've been running 50 years next year. We run 3 branches across across Warwickshire. But aside from all the standard print services which we offer, which we'd like to talk to you about on another podcast, we realised, obviously going into lockdown, that people are going to need lots of social distancing, safety products for the business. So we basically built an e-commerce site specifically for companies like your Kerfufflers to be able to log on, easily purchase lots of social distancing products. Safety is obviously the most important thing in the workplace at the moment. So we kind of parked our standard traditional print services to the side. And we've managed to now build a big portfolio of products which we can go through, which can be easily ordered by any of your Kerfufflers. They can just log on, simple e-commerce site, add them to a basket as you normally would. We're supplying across the UK. Lead times are fairly quick depending on your products. And it's a big range of things, and we're finding that a lot of the customers who are shopping are actually logging onto the site and realising that they do need a lot more than they originally thought, because people are getting a little bit worried, as they go out there on the streets, and they're becoming a little bit reluctant to come into premises at the moment, especially premises that haven't got themselves ready for social distancing, safety in the workplace being paramount, sneeze screens and lots of things which we're going to talk about shortly. So, we've got an excellent e-commerce site. The pricing is absolutely rock bottom, as it would be for your Kerfuffle crew. We're offering a further.
I'm glad you're hitting the right notes here. That's okay. Keep saying nice things about our Kerfufflers.
Yeah, well, basically, the idea wasn't to try and make a lot of money out of the pandemic. It was basically to make sure that, companies across the UK are fitted out correctly for this pandemic, so that they can make sure that not just the public coming in to see them, but their staff are obviously correctly protected under current conditions. So we've got the pricing is pretty much rock bottom, but we are offering for Kerfuffle a further discount, which I'm sure you're going to talk about, an extra 5%. And should you add lots of nice products to the basket, then we can look at offering further discounts as well. And as I previously said, we supply across, and we are supplying all the way across the UK.
Cool. Well, you've shot your bolt there. You've already got you've done the money shot before we had a chance to build it up. Okay. I think it's look, we're going to spend just to set everyone's expectations. Anyone has any questions, please jump in and we'll help them. We'll post these obviously out as well on your landing page on the Kerfuffle website, so people can again get all this information. But I think what for the next 20-30 minutes, I think we need to talk about this, because of course many estate agents, you'll be aware, they were one of the first businesses back. And not all of those. Some have taken the decision that they actually aren't opening the doors because they can't do the social distancing right at the moment. And of course, that's why this is so important, isn't it? It's not just about just because the government's given a tick in the box and said, well, we can all go back to business now. you know, a lot of the public, as we know, and I think you've experienced this, are really still very, very nervous about it, and they simply won't engage with businesses that aren't taking the appropriate steps. Are you seeing that? Because you cover the entire high street, don't you? That's very much what you're seeing elsewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny actually. When we started launching the products, you would get various companies across your high street range would be looking, well, okay, we're just going to get some arrows to point people in certain directions. We're just going to get some social distancing stickers and then see where we go from there. But then within sort of 2 or 3 weeks, they were logging back in and saying, actually, we need to get sneeze screens, we need face masks. Actually, can you do branding, which we haven't mentioned? And just about all the range of stuff that we've got on the, or the range of products that we've got on the e-commerce site can all be branded as well.
Sorry, Tim, go on.
Also, what we're finding a lot is that people might have thought about inside their premises, but obviously with trying to control the number of people inside, it leads to people having to queue outside, as we've seen with supermarkets and things like that. And obviously people won't want to be losing potential customers. So it's how you control the flow outside of your property as much as indoors as well. And people walk past.
So talk us through that, Tig. So explain that. That's literally like kind of being able to separate the, this is the 2 meter distancing and literally making that clear to people. Is that what you're talking about there?
Yeah. So a lot of people have obviously implemented stuff inside, are limiting people to say maybe 2 or 3 people, depending on the square footage of your inside of your office or your shop front. Yeah. If somebody sort of standing outside and wants to come in and inquire, it's how you control that flow and give that message before people come inside. Of so a lot of people are keeping the door sort of closed or having somebody on the door to control that and asking people to wait and queue outside. So we've got vinyls that are suitable for outdoor use for on the pavement that in months to come can easily be lifted. We've got stencils with temporary spray paint to again guide people of where to queue and where to stand. Window graphics, clicks. They're called window clings, so they're not a permanent adhesive, but again, just giving people a message of please queue up here, 1 in, 1 out, or you'll be invited into the premises, very shortly. That type of message, just so they're not losing trade, really.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, and I've seen that done well. So tell me if you don't know the legality around it, but obviously with those stencils and the spray paint, are people allowed to? Does it depend on individual councils? Are they allowed to do that? Are people being quite receptive just because obviously it's sensible at the moment to do that? Or
yeah, I think I would always advise with the spray paint to just make sure from the councils, etc., whether we do a permanent and a semi-permanent range. So we're surprised actually because the permanent sprays are the ones that are really selling more properly, and they could last a long time. A school has just literally bought a lot of permanent spray, so they don't seem to be too worried. But I appreciate the high street is a different place, so I would always recommend people check.
Obviously, it depends who owns the property, but generally the pavement outside or with the council, as we said, the vinyls will pull up with a bit of wear hard sort of pulling on the edges. The temporary spray paint's got about a 3 to 4 month lifespan, depending on footfall and rain, but can basically be power washed or scrubbed off. So that seems to be the more probably the one we would imagine people would utilise more. The stencil itself can obviously be used multiple times, so it's just a case of reapplying if it starts to fade over the summer. But then the window cling stickers stick to the inside of your own shop front. So that's just down to yourself.
You've got to take this really seriously, haven't you? I mean, apart from the whole, just the obvious side of the pandemic there is a whole thing that about actually, people have almost been habitualized because they've been stuck inside so often for so long. They're actually really, really nervous coming out of this, and it's going to take a little bit of coaxing and everything else to make sure they're in the right place.
Yeah, I mean, it's slightly funny story. We supply quite large jewellers across the UK, and they've had lots of social distancing safety products. They then phoned up a couple of days ago and said, I've got a bit of an issue actually. There's a product we haven't thought of. Can you supply us with all gold foil boards to say, please can you remove your mask before you come into the premises, just briefly, because obviously going into the jewellers with face masks, going in. But yeah, we can, even products that aren't on the site, we do lots of bespoke products as well with regards to safety products.
You've got a ridiculous. I mean, as I said, we wanted to keep this just down to the getting back to there. But I mean, if you actually go on the wider, the wider site, there's very little you don't do, is there, in terms of design and the direct mail and everything else there, really. I mean, if you were to summarise just before we move on to again back onto the sort of safety aspects in it, what is the elevator kind of description of Prontaprint? Is it all print media? Is mediums? Is it what is basically what don't we do?
Well, encompassing Prontaprint, you see, there's always been a bit of a common misperception across many facets of people that Prontaprint is just a copy shop, and it's very much far from a copy shop these days. And so next year is going to be our 50th anniversary. We're very much B2B, having a B2C arm as well. That we have a branch that doesn't offer any B2C walk-in. It's just literally B2B over in Coventry. And Prontaprint sometimes gets hit with a stick of being very much a copy shop, but no, very professional setup. We offer full design service. We work with some much larger companies. We work with sites that have got many branches across the UK. We've got lots of systems in place for your guys, for stock inventories, etc. We can build your own platform, build your own showcase of products that you can log on to securely. Direct mail, we're a big provider of. We've got secure portals set up. GDPR is all boxed off from our end. So we do quite a lot of direct mailing, and it's another offer that we've got for Kerfuffle that we were going to put in another webinar perhaps, where we've got special offers and special pricing. We print on all types of media, and we do work with your very smallest companies up to very large, as I say, multi-site companies. And it's more to say that we have no issue with supplying as many companies as you've got across the UK. Service times are very good as well, and we give you an service.
Cool. And I mean, I think that misconception that you just do black and white copies might have been spread by me whenever I see you. Anyway, I know you've moved up to color photocopies and you've got everything now, so I'm not gonna go there. What you were saying earlier, though, is really true as well, isn't it? Is we've spoke about the nervousness from the public, but actually it's just as important, obviously, that requirement to look after your staff members. There's so many people out there that are shouting from the hilltops, health over wealth and everything else there. Yeah, is that just because of Alex? I've been out with him, so I know what he's like. But yeah, I mean, just that ability, that requirement to look after your, that duty of trust that you have for your staff is important, isn't it?
We as soon as we went into lockdown, we were quickly thinking about how we could obviously carry on with the standard contracts that haven't stopped during lockdown. So the print contracts that we've got. So we started to look at splitting shift times, so doing day shifts, evening shifts for people. So we just reduced the amount of connection between the staff members, trying to ensure that we keep the 2-meter gaps. Hot desks were all gone, so it was needing to think about your operation before you actually get going. And we've implemented all sorts of products across not only our centres, but also our production areas as well, which are separate to the centres where we do all the wet printing, etc. And it did need quite a lot of thought in the interim to make sure that we weren't just shoehorning lots of people. Welfare of staff is obviously the most important thing, and I think people will be conscious of that. Is that they've got to make sure that when they open up, and if they're not open already, they need to not only be thinking about the public, but very much thinking about how they operate, how their desks are set up. Are they set up for people coming to see them? Can the staff obviously, work? Some premises are bigger, some premises are smaller, but we've got a full range of products that can help those people, from the sneeze screens and dividers and bits and bobs that will ensure that you get peace of mind. But important that the staff get peace of mind, because I think there's a lot of people out there who are potentially a little bit worried about going back to work as well.
Yeah.
And They're on furlough at the moment, but they're on standby at any moment to be called back in. So they need that peace of mind, because it's not just them; it's their families, the people who are shielding within their families, and it's not just yourself; it's the knock-on effect. So it is very important.
I've heard that from a number of people actually on kind of WhatsApp groups and things like that have been talking about, for some of the furloughed staff have really been challenging their, they've been talking about being called back, but they're going back to the owners and wanting to know what measures are they taking to ensure their safety is going to be maintained.
Yeah, a product we've seen a bit more of a popular rise in is a suspended. So I don't know if you can see that's just a clear screen, but it's suspended from the ceiling. So a lot of the sneeze screens, you sort of see a sort of balance on the end of a desk, but not every office has the size or the ability by the time you've got your PC on there or your laptop. And the suspended screen just allows at sort of sitting level and standing level that screen between desks. So although people be trying to put 2 meters between, if that's physically not possible, you can do suspended screens from the ceiling. They come with the fittings. It's just a less intrusive part to the office.
And why that really works is there's a lot of, what a lot of agency offices look like, but especially those that have kind of property management departments, or they have client services departments where, they might not just be in the front office, but upstairs, and they tend to be facing each other as well. That's very, very difficult to kind of come up with social distancing, or at least safe distancing at the moment, in any other way. So that's a great example there, actually, of a real barrier, isn't it, that can help out in that process.
Yeah, we were tasked quite early on with a big solicitor company locally to have a think about how they could potentially get their workforce back in, being much on what you said. The desks are very close together. They've got a lot of people in one premises. You're looking over 100 people in not necessarily a large premise over 3 floors. So that we worked very closely with them to make sure that they had the sneeze screens. They actually had particular desk sneeze screens that they had particular measurements of, particular dimensions for each desk. So we can build them exactly as you need them. So you could come to us and say, we've got 5 desks that have got a certain measurement on them, 3 desks, etc., etc. We can basically build these screens to specification if you need be, in a quick turnaround.
So it's not just off the shelf. There is an element of you can be quite turnkey with this stuff, and be and talk about customizing this for the client.
Absolutely, yeah. With branding, if you need it as well. Some companies want to have the brand certainly on the stuff in their front office, on the products, on the sneeze screens, window graphics. They obviously want to, they don't just want to have necessarily a generic off-the-shelf product, and we can achieve all of that. The timescale's slightly longer, but within a quick time frame.
Well, we've got Mr. Mintz, who would normally be hosting the show with my good stuff, but we've got him asking the question here as well. Is just asking, you mentioned lead time there and it not being good. Obviously PPE is heavily in demand out there. Are things loosening up a bit from the frankly almost like the toilet paper demand we saw before? What's the average lead time on some of this PPE, and especially the branded PPE stuff?
Yeah, so we've got a variety of sort of what we're calling off-the-shelf products. So pre-produced products like this sort of vinyl floor sticker, which is sort of 2 to 3 day. Obviously, couriers at the moment are trying to operate as sort of next day as possible, but we're being advised to sort of recommend up to 48 hours for delivery as volumes are obviously increasing. So yeah, off-the-shelf items. 2, 3, 4 working days. Bespoke products, it depends on the quantity and the volume and obviously the demand. Bits like your sneeze screens, if we're CAD cutting to size, we're looking at around 4 to 5 days, and that includes free UK delivery on majority of the products. But if you were doing a big order, what we're doing now is we're releasing products as soon as they're ready. So we're not waiting for one consignment. If half your order's ready, your off-the-shelf items, we'll get those to you so you can implement them, and the bespoke stuff will follow as soon as it's ready.
Okay, that's really handy to know. Look, I mean, 48 hours, or in some days, is impressive as you get, isn't it? We're not too far off Amazon style delivery times, are we? With a lot of that off the shelf stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I think if it's okay with you guys, one of the things I'd like to do is I think you sent us over some of the just to give an idea of the customization there. So I'm just going to share my screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see this as well, as long as this works. Just there we are. So let's have a look here. Yeah. Okay, can you see that on the screen okay, Alex?
Yes, all right. Yeah.
You got that? Okay, right. Let's just have a look through some of this then. So that's just the normal pop-up, isn't it? Can you see that there?
Yep, standard roller banner. You all will have seen them. You'll have had them at exhibitions. We can obviously fully brand your roller banners, variety of sizes, variety of feet, fixings. They're a very quick product to produce, but good branded products, yeah.
Right, okay. And we've got the little, what do you call these? The little sandwich style boards, aren't they? The mini sandwich boards?
Yeah, we've got a variety of products on these, from your standard, which you're seeing there, the standard A-frame board, to waterproof bases, double-sided ones that turn round, ones that have got lighting in them. We've got absolutely massive range of branded boards that you can put. Obviously, these aren't wonderful in the wind, so they might be fine for a covered area, but you want to be looking at the waterproof ones if you're going outside of them.
Yeah, again, that's going back to sort of that message, giving your customers the message before they get to your front door that you're open, or what measures you're implementing, so that people are aware before they try and sort of burst into the shop and cause havoc.
Yeah, because a lot of people, let's be honest, have just got it up on a tiny bit of A4 paper in the window, which isn't particularly reinforcing the message when you've got 2 or 3 people leaning in to try and read it, is it?
Yeah.
And this, I can see very much here, this is where you can actually almost enforce, queue lines and things like that, isn't it? Or to make sure where people can wait.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, great. And then getting down to some of the actual, well, I mean, apart from the fact that I should love the fact that obviously we've got face masks here with obviously the branding on, that's fairly striking. So again, so just on this sort of stuff, how long would simplistic branding on a face mask normally take to arrive?
About 5 working days for the standard fabric face mask that you've got. General white, 1, 2, 3 full color branding, all fine across them. Can put them on either cheek. We've got a brand new range actually, of masks called True Masks, which we've launched on the site in the last couple of weeks. Which they're pre-designed, so they've got adult ones, child ones, which have got lots of different designs. They come with a filter, so people are buying those. Potentially people who are going to be in them longer. So some people are wearing their fabric masks just to go to a property for a short period of time. But if you're in a premises for a long period of time and you need to keep that mask on, we've got lots of pre-designed True Masks that come with 12-hour filters.
Yeah, so what people don't realise is surgical masks or surgeon's masks have a 4-hour sort of recommended lifespan, whereas like Alex, the filter in the True Mask has a 12-hour lifespan. So it'll cover you for your day's work, and then you dispose of the filter, wash your mask, and slip a new filter back in.
I think I've seen them. Yeah, they're okay. That makes perfect sense, because again, there's nothing worse than actually people overusing these masks, and actually that's where they tip into actually, rather than being preventative, they can actually help create the issue, can't they?
Well, lots of people have now seen the people on the news who think, well, they're not very comfortable, these surgical masks, so they're cutting a hole around the mouth so that they can breathe easier. And obviously that's a breathing problem. But so we would definitely advise, don't do that, but get a filter.
No, we really don't want to be encouraging that sort of behaviour. And then again, just some the old marketing side of things. This is stuff we'll come back and discuss, isn't it? There, but again, really just reiterating there, everyone can go to that Prontaprint buyonline.com. They need Alex, obviously, to get that extra 5% off. Do they need to put in any code or anything like that, or?
They do, just like a standard e-commerce site. There's a discount code area when you go to the basket, and if you type Kerfuffle 5, it'll also apply a discount across whichever products you've ordered.
Cool. Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense in terms of there. So that's very kind. It's worth pointing out, actually. Actually, funny enough, that's exactly what David's just said here. So yes, David, I don't know if you caught that. There's a code for Kerfuffle viewers. Just put Kerfuffle in there, and as I said, then the guys will know to apply it. It's worth pointing out, isn't it, that actually. 5% might not sound like a lot, but actually of far greater importance to you is these are already on paper thin margins, and you're doing this more than anything to get people back to work. I think from our point of view, we know that most people understand that we get paid from providers giving us a referral for it. Just to make it absolutely clear, Kerfuffle isn't making any margin, any referral from this. We're all just trying to get this back together, aren't we, to make sure the high street gets kicked off again and businesses can start moving.
Yeah, 100%, Simon. Nail on the head there. The margins are, as you said, paper thin on these products, because it's more important that people are being safe. They're practicing safe policy in the workplace, and we want everybody to be safe across the UK and doing it properly. So the margins are very thin, but your Kerfuffle suppliers or users would get an extra 5%. And if they bulk their orders together, if they want to give me a call or give Tig a call, we can always look at further discounts as well, because we were not looking, much the same as you're not, we're not looking to make any particular profits out of the pandemic. It was more to make sure that all these UK businesses are being well supplied and keeping safe in this obviously difficult time.
No, look, I know that's the case, Alex. I mean, we were talking offline, weren't we? And you actually came up with this constructively to try and make sure, because without everyone, without people coming back to the high street, it's going to be a very quiet place for months to come, isn't it? So we've got to do what we all can to try and make sure people feel safe enough to trade.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Cool. And just once more, I'll put it into the comments box down here, but there's that Prontaprint buy online element there that we'll send out to everyone. We'll encourage people, Alex, I think, if people do want to come back and let us know, what kind of stuff they're looking at, we might be able to get them to all team together and see what sort of, communal discount we'll get as well. So we'll liaise with you on the basis of that. Is there anything else, guys, that we should be aware of in terms of the service you're doing at the moment, or should we save that for another webinar when we're going to discuss your other products in detail?
Well, I mean, just to be honest with you, Simon, we offer a massive range of print products. The prontaprintbuyonline.com is specifically just e-commerce. We offer lots and lots of B2B. We're happy to take calls from any Kerfuffle customer to talk about any print project that they've got coming up. We've got full range of services. We've got top of the range equipment, excellent team of very friendly people who are happy to discuss any project, large or small. Just give us a call. One of us will pick it up and can talk you through any project that you need.
Of course. Well, I can certainly vouch for you. You've done loads of jobs for us over the years, so and you haven't let me down yet anyway, but I'd let you know if you had. So okay, Tig, thank you very much. Alex, brilliant to see you doing your bit to try and get that back on board. I encourage everyone, obviously, just make sure you stay safe. As I said, health over wealth isn't just a saying. You've got to practice what you preach. So please go to these guys, talk to them either online or obviously on the telephone, and see what they can do for you. Guys, thank you very much and have a great day. Stay safe, guys.
Yeah, you too. Cheers, Simon.
Thank you.
Cheers.